Neither can I.
I just inadvertently muted myself. Am I back? Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. All righty, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Half hour together goes so quickly. We do almost nothing and it goes so quickly. As always, you will have the option to be in any position that's comfortable for you. And today I'm recommending a legs up the couch, legs up the, let me demonstrate it for you so you can get in this position for our centering. Rocky, I'll move you a little bit. Okay, so if you sit close up to a chair or a hassock, you'll be on your back and your legs will be up and bent at the knees and supported. Your calves and shins will be supported by your hassock or chair or couch, so something about that height. And then, so as you sit, you can lay down on your side, then you just roll onto your back. I'm gonna scooch myself a little closer. It's really lovely. Lovely positioning. And I'm gonna get out of this position, but you can stay here for now or for the whole time. And settle in, make any little adjustments that you need to make it feel just right. Yes, pillows under your head might be nice. Yeah, and it's fine to see me, but you also probably don't need to see me during this practice. I'd love to see you, but I don't need to see you. All right, let's begin. Bell calling us in. We're just here. That line is calling me to one of my meditation teacher's poems. We're just here. And so perhaps just note how simply hearing the bell, listening, hearing, passively, the sound just came to you. How maybe it's changing already what you feel like right here, right now. Maybe there's a deeper sense of here-ness. And open the aperture of your listening just a little bit bigger, wider, effortlessly. There's nothing to do. It's just a shift of your selection, almost easier. You know, in technology, we used to have buttons, or we used to have a remote that we didn't used to have remote controls. We'd have to walk up to the TV and change the channels or the buttons. And then there's the remote control and we push the buttons. And I think now we don't do this, but I think you can just talk to your remote and it will change your channel for you or your volume. So similarly, just opening to listening more broadly, bigly, widely. And just notice what you are noticing in the world of sound. I hear bird sounds outside the window. I hear the shushing, shush of my air conditioning. Thank goodness. I hear silence. And again, notice how listening and that openness to the wonder of sound feels in your body, how it feels energetically for you, how your body might be doing something differently. And then feel, you don't have to leave sound, you can be aware of it as well. Awareness can hold all that. But also feel the ground underneath you. And if you've chosen to be in legs of the couch, chair, hassock, the parts of you that are against something solid and gravity holding you in place. Bringing your attention there may help the body relax a bit more. And more. And begin to feel breath effortlessly streaming always, even when we're not paying attention. Perhaps sometimes suspended or hindered a bit when we unconsciously or habitually tighten, resist, which are not bad things. We need to do some of those sometimes. Resist, tighten, protect. But just again, so simply, effortlessly letting ourselves watch and feel our breath, along with this, hearing the sounds, along with feeling the ground and gravity. Body somehow knows, oh, it's okay to relax. It's okay to make way for this flow of breath a bit more fully, a bit more freely. This week I was sharing with a friend that I have a tendency toward anxiety and feeling overwhelmed in any case, but I'm just before a long trip, so many things to take care of before we go. And that friend reminded me of another friend's idea of a great mantra. So the mind comes up with all the scenarios that might go wrong, might not work out. And that's actually an important function, but it's kind of on overdrive and it goes on its own, very default like. So I'm choosing, I wrote it up, put it on my refrigerator with a fun magnet that I have. And it says, what if it all works out? What if it all works out? So as you continue to feel yourself here, more so here right now that you always are, but we forget, we live in that more mind space, thinking space. I'll read you a poem that Jackie gets from her friend Steve, and she shares with us. She sent a couple years ago. It's by a poet named Kiersten Dierking. I have not met her. I have not heard of her before, this poem, entitled Nuthatch. What if a sleek, gray-feathered nuthatch flew from a tree and offered to perch on your left shoulder, accompany you on all your journeys? Nowhere fancy, just the brief everyday walks from garage to house, from house to mailbox, from the store to your car in the parking lot. The slight pressure of small claws clasping your skin, a flutter of wings every so often at the edge of vision. And what if he never asked you to be anything? Wouldn't that be so much nicer than being alone? So much easier than trying to think of something to say? What if? This little friendship, this little friend out in nature, alighting, befriending us, reminding us that there's a bigger picture than the limitations our mind keeps us in. What if it all works out? What if there's more to the story? And so now, as you still feel the ground, let's bring our arms out in front of us and let each hand hold on to the forearm up by the elbow, the opposite forearm. And just the arms are right in front of you. I like to call this Russian dancer arms. So for those of you on the ground, which I've suggested, it'll be their arms are up toward the ceiling. And just let the arms move up toward your head in this position to create, it's like a little window you're creating for yourself. And then let the arms come back to center right above you. And just that little movement. And there's no need to go to where you've got any kind of intensity doesn't feel nice. Just it's more about the movement than any kind of stretching. Just a pleasant, easy movement it's as if we're opening this window for ourselves and looking through. And then just let that go. Let your arms come down, pause. This type of movement where we do a little movement, we do it with the intent of ease, lightness, joyfulness. And then frequently pausing into stillness, non-movement. A little bit of slowing down, a little bit of saying hello to some of the quieter parts, some of the parts we don't recognize so often. Movements we might not do so much in our everyday, but that would be useful, can be useful for reaching, for repositioning. And let's bring the arms back to the same position where we started from. And this time just take the arms downward as if closing a window, bringing it down towards your belly and then back up. And just noticing as you're moving, another aspect we like to attend to in this kind of Feldenkrais or somatics movement is what's happening throughout the whole body as you make this little easy movement, or might not be easy, that's fine if it's not. Let's try to keep it in the range where it feels good and non-harming, non-hurting in any way. You can let it shift to where you're taking the arms all the way up, back through center right in front of us and down, and sensing the entirety of yourself, the closely connected parts, the shoulders, the middle back. You may feel what's happening there to support the movement, that's tugged by the movement. You're breathing. Noticing the breathing is a part of us. It's something we all share. We share with this blanket of atmosphere and on the earth and all creatures, with the nuthatch. And then let it go. Just let the arms unclasp, rest somewhere comfortable. And when we stop, there's a whole other suite of sensations that comes online. And I often find we did just a minute or two of movement, 2 minutes of slow movement, pausing, attending. So often that already really changes my mind state, my energy, my physical feeling. And something about the poem and the what if and this movement is that there is that I, the I, capital I, the letter I, not the EYE, but similar, kind of related, I that never changes, that sees what we're attending to now and is the I that is always with us, that is untouched by any changes in our body, in our life, in our hopes, in our surroundings. Just to have a little attention to that primordial I that's prior to everything. As we bring the arms back into the clasped position, forearms clasping each other. And if you want, you might notice you probably go to the habitual clasp, maybe go the other way. So mine is usually my right hand on top of my left forearm, my hand closer to my face. The unusual way is the left hand on top of the right forearm. And so now let's take this little window and let it collapse this parallelogram and get some geometry in here over to one side and then back to center. And let's just stay going to one side. You might be curious about the side you chose to go to. And you might be curious and interested in how this little movement pulls the side ribs, the three-dimensional shape of you pulls maybe even into the hips and legs and feet. And what does the neck do? Maybe the head and neck want to roll a little with that. So go slowly. And when you come back each time, we've done this a number of times already, but when you come back, just pause there before, like take a full stop, a period at the end of a sentence. Start again. And you can let your head roll, your eyes roll, and you might find you go a little farther. Not that that's the kind of goal of it, but just the change that when more of you gets involved in some way. In fact, you could do the opposite and let the head and eyes go opposite the movement, and that might limit it or just create a whole different sensation. It's just a lot of different shapes and possibilities and how they're all connected and relating. And then let it go. Next time you come to center, relax your arms, shoulders. Feel how your breath might be touching the belly, the rib cage, the back body lying on the ground, the back of your head, how the breath even influences all these parts of you. Pulls at the whole bag of your body. I think it was, metaphor I used a few weeks ago was kind of imagining that our body is a sack that's filled with wet sand, and the sand can easily shift and flow. Right now, that metaphor is not working for me. A water balloon feels better, like a more fluid, but just that sense of flow, or honey, something that can flow. It all keeps all together, but it also flows and shifts like the murmuration of starlings. And then when you're ready, and I should have said, in addition to always choosing the shape you like, you can, I always feel like I'm inviting anarchy, but you can just do what you need in this practice. I have had students do something completely different than what I'm saying, and that's fine. Sometimes it's just the being here together, and what you might need to do might feel different, or it's good for you to do the same thing, or you may be doing it in a way that's a little or a lot different than I'm suggesting. So the arms back up again, and choosing which clasp you take, the one that's more habitual to you or not. When you start to do the one that's not so habitual more often, each one will become, you'll be more ambidextrous, like both will feel like equally habitual. And then go ahead and take the elbows to the other side, and maybe let the head roll. Come back to center and pause. And continue that a couple times. And as you do that, one of the first things that might happen in the mind, which it's a wonderful, of course, it's a wonderful tool, and one of its things of describing what's happened and what's different is useful to see. We can go overboard with that, but it's useful to see, oh, this feels differently in the shoulder blades, in my upper back, or in my lower back or neck. And then just flow right into, or you can pause and start whenever you like. Your rhythms can be different. Go into making circles with your elbows from this clasped position. Breathing and just letting the circle feel delicious, not painful, not too hard. Let your head and eyes either stay pretty still, or kind of go with the movement, or go opposite the movement. Just continue a couple more circles. And then let the circles go in the other direction. And for another few breaths, just do whatever you like. You might pause first. Maybe you'll keep going. Maybe you'll add just some more like dance-like movement, or very fast movement, or you'll just enjoy the slow. Or you might let your arms unclasp and reach. You might just go free form to what feels nice for you. All the while being little bit conscious of that you that never changes, that's watching and enjoying all this. Or also whatever pops up within that boundless, timeless I. And then your choice, as we wind the movement down, to stay right where you are for our stillness, the meditation portion. I tend to be heavy on the movement portion in terms of time, and for us, so we have about 5 or 6 minutes to be still. Or you can shift and come up to a different position sitting, or lying flat. Just you decide what you'd like to do. If you've shifted your position, take the time you need to get the shape of your body just right to support stillness for a few minutes. And so as we're still, there's just nothing we need to do. We're just breathing, observing, relaxing, being. Perhaps using any tool when you feel you're kind of lost, or you've lost that tether to being. You can come back to watching a breath, hearing sound, sensing ground. As you celebrate that you noticed, that you were never and know you were never actually not aware. Perhaps relaxing a little more somewhere, letting the opening be. And a few more breaths in this stillness together. Perhaps, as you noticed, a picture from my wall fell. Got my attention. Perhaps you might notice that having done this move, brought our attention to the body in this very kind way, and moved as if dancing with ourselves, together dancing with ourselves. Maybe that allowed the accessibility to silence and that stillness and that beingness a little more, as if to just let the mind sit at its side, be aside for a little while. Maybe not, maybe lots of thoughts were streaming in, and there's no problem with that. And just noting perhaps that it's helpful to come into the body, include the body, to segue into this spaciousness and this boundless, wide open awareness that we are. So we might bring our hands together at our heart, even laying down if that's where you still are, and bow in gratitude and an appreciation of all of us together, of each of our unique, diverse gifts, and bowing to ourself and bowing to this practice that we're doing together, supporting each other, helping each of us on our own path, but the togetherness of it is very buoying and supporting. Thank you. So all of that, the going into the body, the being here together, to the knowing we've got each other for this practice, there's something very intimate and helpful on this meditation journey, I think.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. Great to see you guys. I'm going to stop the recordings and say goodbye to YouTube here. And then those of you who'd like to stay and chat on Zoom can join me. And those of you on YouTube could leave me chats or notes, love notes. Bye-bye. Till next time.
Thank you, Alex.